All right, should we get into the mock draft?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so we'll be doing this from a keeper league, AFL Fantasy keeper league perspective. So thinking long term here, dynasty style, not really too fussed about first year and that sort of stuff. From there,
Definitely.
we're going to do, I think, 8 picks each. So we'll do top 16 from here, and yeah, we'll effectively.
We're gonna have enough. It's a weak draft, apparently.
Yeah, well, there's plenty there. I can keep going beyond this. So
I'm telling you, I've been looking through it, and I think like there's more than 16 blokes that are relevant.
Yeah.
I feel.
Well, that probably ties into my next kind of thing that I'm going to say is that we'll actually do this top 16 for the general public, and then we'll do a bit of an extra chat at the end, almost like an extended version of this podcast for the members, so they can kind of listen to the extra people that we think are going to be relevant as well. So if you're not a member, make sure you're signing up and you're getting access to that content. Now, you're the guest in my studio today, so I'm going to give you pick number one.
No pressure.
Let's hear it. Who are you taking?
Well, I've been thinking about it a fair bit, and do I go someone like an Annable, who's probably the best player, but he's stuck behind a class mids? Do I think about Yuland, but he's probably got the best ceiling, but also Gold Coast are very good, so what's he going to roll? So I've settled on Willem Dersma, pick one from the West Coast Eagles. Gibson Power, Vic Country MVP.
Yeah. I've got his fantasy numbers in front of us. So Talent League averaged 106.4, 94.5 in the under-18 champs, and played the 2 VFL games and averaged 79.5. So, yeah.
Played for Casey Demons in the VFL, 2 games. I think he played half-back. The best thing about Dersma is he can almost play, he's like Brendan Goddard kind of vibe, athletic, aerial, can play either end of the field. I just feel like at West Coast he's going to get a great opportunity to eventually become that inside-outside mid that they need.
Yeah.
He's great ball user. There's been some question marks on his kicking consistency.
Yeah.
But he loves to take a mark. He had a 150 and a 140 in the Talent League. He's been a gun for the last couple of years, so I just feel like he's 191 centimetres as well.
Yeah.
So Xavier, I went back to look at Xavier.
He's bigger, isn't he?
He's 185.
Yeah.
But Xavier was touted as like the third best mid in Victoria behind Walsh and Bailey Smith in that draft. So Dersman's got those kind of traits as well, but he's a little bit taller.
Yeah.
And I just feel like he's going to take that role at West Coast and dominate.
That's why, I'm glad you took him, because I didn't want to take him, but I thought, if you didn't take him, then I'd have to at pick 2.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of glad you did, because the Supercoach AFL on their Instagram posted a video the other day of this massive game that he had 140, and I swear not every kick, but a lot of the highlights, he just missed a lot of targets in there, and that just kind of spooks me as in he's obviously the best prospect in this draft because he went at pick number 1, but is it a weaker draft? And I did when I saw that, and then I see him taking marks across halfback and out in the wings and stuff like that, I sort of sometimes see a bit of outside really gun wingman about him, and not gun, or maybe might miss the polish to be that gun inside mid. And if this is a weaker draft and West Coast spend the next 4 years picking up gun midfielders, that might push him out a little bit, but that's obviously a lot of speculative thinking,
a lot of hypothetical.
Yeah, and we have to judge it on what I thought of this. So he would have been my pick 2 if you didn't take him, but I'm glad you took him at pick 1, because then I don't have to worry about it.
Well, I think with the weaker draft it's come from mainly because Vic Metro have been dominant, and Sandy Dragons have been dominant the last few years, with Ashcroft, and both Ashcrofts. They've had Sam Marshall's in there as well. There's been heaps of talent that's come out, whereas this Vic Metro side weren't very good.
Yeah.
So I think that's why initially on the surface they think, it's a pretty weak draft.
Yeah.
But you look at South Australia, you look at Allies, look at Big Country.
It's the best draft we've had in a long time since Australia.
But then I remember at the start of the year, they were saying it's one of the weakest South Australian teams they've put out in a long time.
Well, there you go, and they didn't lose the game.
Yeah, weren't dominated. So, take everything with a grain of salt. I feel like it's still a very good draft, and I think a lot of these guys are probably going to play round 1 or round, in the first part of the season. But we'll get into it. So,
all right,
pick 2
coming up. All right, I'm glad. I thought you would take this guy at pick 1, so I'm going to take him at pick 1. It's pick 2, sorry, and that is Daniel Annable. So again, got his fantasy numbers in front of me. 114 average in the Talent League, 86 at the under-18 champs, and then a 75 average in the VFL. I think he had 200 plus scores in the VFL, and probably one of the few underage players to actually ton up in the VFL this season. Brisbane have been pretty bullish about him, said that if he was eligible they would have picked him for the finals. Even played in the grand final this year.
He's a gun, man.
Everyone is worried about how does he get into this midfield, but they're already saying we're going to play him if he's when he's ready to go. So I think he walks straight in. What position he plays, it might not be like a straight inside mid. I think you're going to see a lot of maybe like outside time, just like the Levi Ashcroft did last year.
Yeah,
I think we might see a similar role to that.
Forward, I think he'll be forward a fair bit.
Yeah.
He's been working on his forward game in the VFL talent and under 18s. He likes a goal. So I think definitely he can find a spot in that team. He's been at Brisbane since he was 12 years old.
Yeah, there you go.
They've put a pump resources into him, gives him a massive advantage, but he's very Locky Neal-like, very clean around the stoppages.
And that's my thinking. Like, Locky Neal's probably got 2 years of his prime. Well, he's already past his prime. He's probably got 2 years to go. I think, say if Brisbane like win a third flag, I think we could very much see like Locky Neal retire at the end of the year.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah, so like...
and then Ashcroft and Annable, the Triple-A team,
correct.
just take over for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
But you're right. You look at their team, Ashcroft, Dunkley, McCluggage, Berry, Rayner, Bailey, Neal.
Yeah.
Like they are stacked in there.
Yeah.
But they're talking like he's going to crack in pretty soon.
Well, but the thing is, I think he could overtake someone like Berry pretty quickly.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
as well. Like, and that's another outside type I know, but does roll through the middle a little bit, adds to that rotation. So I'm not too worried about the depth of the midfield because I reckon in 2 or 3 seasons he'll just be full-time mid along with the other Ashcroft boys, and that'll be their kind of main rotation that you might have the luxury of pushing, McCluggage back out to a wing or something like that,
Definitely.
And yeah, that's why.
And it is a dynasty keeper type draft.
Absolutely. We got his whole career.
So you got his whole career. I think he's definitely one that you're looking at picking up. And I wouldn't be surprised if he slides in other drafts or if he goes first pick, just because the doubt around Brisbane and their midfield being stacked.
Yeah, correct. All right, we're up to pick 3. Who are you going to take?
Well, I was hoping Annable would be there at pick 3. I thought you were going to take someone else, but I'm going to take Zeke Yuland from Gold Coast. Again, another academy from the Northern States. He played 4 games this year, but only played VFL. I think his high score was a 94 from memory. But he played VFL last year and played Coates Talent League last year. Averaged like 84 for the season.
I think it was higher than that. I think it was 94.
94. Wow,
I think it was quite higher than that, yeah.
So, gun, finds a footy, very classy. They're liking him to...
I've got written 98 from 4 games.
Yeah, wow, bang.
2024, yeah.
So, Errol Goulden-like, very classy left foot. I think he'll probably find his way starting in the back lines or half back.
Yeah.
Great ball user, compose. But the thing about him is his gut running. That's what one of his strengths is, endurance and his gut running. So just screams fantasy player to me that he runs hard, loves a little cheap +6, and they want the ball in his hands as much as possible.
Yeah.
And Gold Coast should continue to get better and should dominate a little bit, I think.
You said defender. I did a cheeky little look at the back end of the draft hub because like where they pull the data from, you can kind of just go behind the scenes if you know what you're doing with a web browser, and you can kind of see where they pull the data from. And in that, it said Yuland is a medium defender, and like they're generally like last year, I think it was 100% of what they were classed as in the draft hub is what they ended up as in AFL fantasy. So I reckon you've got
good
defender
strike
status. Yeah, I think the other thing with him as well, like people are saying, oh, this is another team that's like stacked and it's going to be hard to get into. I reckon Braden Fiorini requested a trade because he's like, I'm not getting a game next year because Zeke Yuland's coming in.
100%.
So,
and they looked at, they didn't just get rid of Fiorini, they got rid of Flanders, they got rid of 2 other players who my brain is just not working at the minute.
Yeah. Trade period was ages ago, man.
Yeah. But they let 4 or 5 sort of fringe players go, knowing that they had these guys coming through and they'd pick them up, and they're basically going to be their fringe as well. So.
And if he's a Errol Goulden type, he doesn't have to be inside mid. You know what I mean?
No.
You can rack up on the outside. So.
And the thing is, last year he was All Australian as a bottom major in the under-18s. So he's shown his class last year. It's just this year he had a back injury, and then this year he was coaching the mids for the VFL side when he was injured. So just a bit of did you watch the draft when he had his when he was 8 years old, he wrote out a list of things he wanted to achieve.
Yeah, I saw that.
The last 2 was get drafted, and then the second one was win a Brownlow. So he's the kind of player that could probably win a Brownlow.
Only got to tick one more thing off.
That's it. I think he's changed his mind. He said he'd rather win a flag with the Gold Coast, but
that'd be pretty sweet.
Take a Brownlow.
Anyways, let's get on to pick 4, and I'm going a bit rogue with this one. Dyson Sharp's the general consensus from the listeners out there, I've noticed, but I'm going to go a bit differently, and I'm going to pick up Josh Lindsay of the West Coast Eagles
bolter.
At the moment. A bit of a bolter in this draft. My reasoning is I think he's the best ball user in this year's draft.
Yeah.
Such a good composed, he's a left footer, so, he has to be a gun with his
That's
boot.
a lock.
Yeah, exactly. But plays across half back, goes to West Coast where they're just going to slot him in straight away. Like if we saw someone like McCarthy last year just kind of slot back into the half back line, I think they'll move McCarthy out of the back line because they tried him in the midfield by the end and he played all right there. Yeah. I reckon he slots back into that half back line and becomes their number one distributor for the next 12, 15 years, off that half back with that foot. And I think we're seeing more often now that the half back flankers can be as good as the elite midfielders.
Definitely.
I think as well. And in a side like that where the ball's always going to be down there.
Lots of marks.
And they're going to want the ball in his hands because he's just such a good user. And they've got no one else who can use it coming out of defence as well as he can. So I think he's just going to be a magnet this year, given the ball at every opportunity. And I guess my only knock is that he played a bit of wing this season as well. And then they haven't really got any good wingers as well. Like they've rotated so many things like Marek and there was another one, I can't remember his name right now, but there's quite a few that they've rotated across there that probably wouldn't get a game in any other side. It's just purely that
they're at West Coast.
Marek probably would, but trying to think of that guy's name.
He was a forward in...
that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah,
I know because I had him in my team for a couple of weeks as a bit of a streamer. So... Lindsay loves a kick out. Took most of the kick outs for Geelong, Falcons, and Vic Country. Definitely one to watch. But like you said before, I think he only averaged about 75 to 80 in the
it's a low average
stuff. So, but I just think when you look at West Coast, he's going to get a lot of marks. The way their style of play is going to suit him a lot.
Yeah.
As you said, probably the best kick in the draft.
Tyler Brockman was the name of that wingman that they used, that forward that went wing.
Former Hawk. I should have got that.
Anyways, Josh Lindsay is my next pick at pick 4. We'll move on to pick 5. Who you're taking?
Well, it's a tough one. I didn't expect...
I know who you want to take. I know exactly who you want to take.
I didn't expect both of these boys to be here still. I thought you would have taken Sharp then. I'm going Sam Cumming, man.
I knew it.
I love this boy. He's an absolute star. He got, so as a bottom major in the Sandful, won the under-18 MVP, so that was last year.
Yeah.
So best player in the under-18, Sam Cumming. His numbers are a bit up and down. He's played multiple roles. He's played a little bit outside, played a bit of forward, played a little bit inside. The second half of the year played 4 games for Sandful, so played for North Adelaide in the Sandful, scored 200s. One of them was a 111, kicked 3 goals, had 21 touches. His ability to spread from contest but also win his own ball is what stands out to me. So I think his ceiling is going to be so high, especially going to Richmond. That can be that inside, outside mid, win his own ball but spread from contest to contest. I've got massive raps on him and I feel like at Richmond he's going to have the perfect opportunity to get a role. I love him, man. He kind of reminds me of Connor Rosie a little bit. Just he's got that quick sort of step, very composed.
Yeah, I can see it.
Hands.
I can see it. I reckon if you didn't take him here, you would have got him at your next pick because I don't reckon I would have picked him. It's not that I don't rate him. It's just that I don't know. I find none of the kind of young Richmond players actually did that well last year in their side. And their kind of style doesn't really pertain to good fantasy scoring at the moment. And I feel like if those draftees from last year kind of didn't come on, and I know there was injuries and all that sort of stuff, then I feel like it might be a similar story for coming straight up. But that doesn't mean like long term he doesn't have the potential. It's just, I probably didn't watch his, he's not one that, because his numbers didn't jump out at me, he's probably not one I watched really closely on the highlights though as well. So I don't really know enough about him to kind of take him in this range. So I was more than happy to let you pounce in and take him, and I'm happy to have a missed opportunity there. But it's probably not one I'm really, from what I did see, he just more looked like a very like tough physical kind of player. Did have like that kind of grunt type of player with a bit of a tough edge as well.
Definitely.
And then kind of can work in the contest, but also can take marks and stuff like that. Like he's kind of got, like you said, he played a variety of roles. He's a bit of a jack of all trades.
Yeah, which could also be his detriment because he can just play anywhere.
Yeah.
But I just think he's just so well-rounded as a footballer. Yeah. And I think that's what makes his ceiling so high.
Yeah. And like he's a bloody good midfielder, like in terms of just the overall craft and physicality and all that sort of stuff as well. So
his pressure defensively, hunts the pill.
Yeah.
Good, like a really good, solid footballer.
Yeah, correct. All right, speaking of good, solid footballers, we're getting to pick 6, and I'm taking Dyson Sharp with my next pick.
He slid.
I can't believe he got down here. I
really probably should have taken him.
That's all right. That's all right.
I know how you feel about Cumming.
It's your draft, though. So, I didn't want to let anything go. Although, You did see my ranks up the top, I reckon.
Yeah,
So,
I know. Yeah.
Anyways, Dyson Sharp, everyone's frothing over this guy because he posted the biggest numbers in the under 18 champs. I think one of the only players to average over 100.
Correct, yeah, 107, I think.
Yeah, 107
rounded up.
from the 4 games, and he's just that kind of strong-bodied inside midfielder. Just loves the contest. He's got that kind of size and strength that he just kind of will walk into Essendon. Well, he should walk into Essendon midfield. It is a kind of a deep midfield, but he should walk in there, perhaps play a little bit forward to start off with. But yeah, just his numbers and his ability to find the footy, extract it, use it. There probably is a few knocks on his disposal, a little bit, not huge, but there's probably an area he can probably get a bit better on. I think my kind of concern is to not put him at the kind of 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of range is just that he does look like that more physical inside, probably doesn't have as much of the outside game that the kind of elite midfielders have. What are your thoughts?
Well, that's been the biggest knock on him from recruiters, that he's got no more ceiling. Like, he's shown everything that he already is, and he's not going to get any better. But
he looks like a man playing with kids already. And when the kids become bigger, I feel like they could they could catch up to him.
So he's been playing Sandful for the last 2 years for Centrals, but he's been playing as like a half forward because the knocks on him where you need to develop forward craft or outside game. So he did that at Sandford and did it pretty well. And then when he goes and plays midfield, he still gets his 30 touches. So the thing for me is I think he slid on draft night because it's almost like, oh, we know what he is. He's just whatever. And almost in the same draft, he slid because it's just he's just going to be a nice 90 mid.
Yeah, that's what I think,
But when I looked at his numbers, so he was All-Australian, under 16, All-Australian, under 18, under 18. So he's won 4 All-Australians in his juniors. When he's playing under 16 for for Centrals in 2023, he had a game where he had 52 touches, had a game where he had 44, a game where he had 48, 39. He averaged like 37 disposals that season. Yeah. And then the next year he was playing league. Yeah. So can rack it up. When he plays against people his age, he dominates. Yeah. So it's just whether he can translate that to the AFL level where everyone's big and strong. Yeah. But I feel like Essendon lost Hobbs, they lost Setterfield. So there's definitely going to be a role for him to play inside. Yeah, that's true. I think jump on if he's there at this kind of range. Yeah. Pick him with faith because he's a gun man. Yeah, no, he is like, and he's like I said, he felt like he was already a man playing against kids when he played against the under 18 champions, stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, that's probably can be a knock as well because is that his advantage already? And will that get pegged back a bit at AFL level? Only time will tell. And I think with this draft being a weak draft, in quotes, it's the rookie recruiters are looking at potential. Who has the most? It's more of like a potential draft. Who has the most potential to be that? Whereas they already know everything about Dyson Sharp because he's just been a consistent performer for 4 seasons. Yeah, that's kind of why he slid a little bit. Yeah, and why he slid in this draft right now. Yeah, 100%. All right, let's move on to pick 7. Who are you taking? Oh, it's my pick. Yeah. I've just pumped up Dyson Sharp. That's all right. I'm going Jacob Faroh. All right. From Essendon, another bomber.
That's a good pick. I'm happy with that one.
So, you weren't happy with Cumming before?
No, like it's fine, but like that's who I would have taken next as well if I had the pick, Yeah,
so Faroh, left footer from WA, West Perth. He didn't make the WA squad start of the year. Got told you need to work on your speed and your running, and he went away and did that. Just a great ball user, very classy. I think sliding into Essendon's backline, I look at their team, just like we sort of said with Sharp. I don't know, Nick Martin's on his knee. They've got Andrew McGrath as their main distributor. Maybe
you used him in the midfield at the end of the season. Yeah, he was quite good there.
Angus Clark, I think he's one to watch as well for that kind of role. But apart from that, it's going to be Ridley or Mackay, or Zach Reed's actually a pretty good ball distributor back there as well. So I think Faro's going to get a role, an opportunity, and he's 189 centimetres, very tall, been likened to a Jordan Dawson, Hayden Young, where start him outside, start him at half back, and then eventually he can roll through the midfield. Played 3 waffle games this year for West Perth, and his highest score was 98 in that. So has shown a little bit of a ceiling, can, mark the ball, kick the ball very, very well. So I think he's one definitely to look at. And I think there's a role there for the Bombers, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Like, just looking at his waffle Colts numbers, some of them were gigantic, really. Averaged 98 across the season, but had some huge games. He averaged 25 disposals as well across the waffle Colts, and managed to go around the 80 mark if we round up. He got 79 in the under 18 championships, and then got some league games as well where he still scored reasonably well for, waffle's a hard league to score in, especially for the kids. They just never seem to come on. What I like about him the most is he's got, on draft night, and all the kind of recruiters talk about that Jordan Dawson factor of him, that he'll start on half back, and he's a similar kind of player, similar kind of user, can kind of do a lot of different things and take marks, all that sort of stuff as well.
might actually mean he ends up in the midfield as well.
Look, mate, these
down the track.
midfielders these days, they're all 180, 190
Yeah.
plus, man. It's ridiculous. So
Pretty much footballers, I reckon they should just get rid of rucks and just play all the same type of players, shouldn't
yeah, definitely. Imagine Bont and Cripps in the ruck contest.
they? Well, it wouldn't be the worst.
Especially now they're not bouncing. You can just
Yeah.
throw it up and they'll just have a go.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the worst idea. All right, we'll move on to pick 8. I really don't know who to take. I've got my rankings and I probably will just go with them. And I'm going to go with... I don't like this one because I think it's going to take a while, but let's go with Dylan Patterson as my next pick. He's called the Rocket. I think that's his nickname.
Yeah, the Rocket. Cow Toomey gave it to him, yeah.
Speedy halfback flanker, averaged 80 in the talent league this week. But yeah, another halfback flanker who's just a good ball user. I guess the biggest knock is he goes to Gold Coast Suns where he's going to be behind Rioli, Noble. But like when I think of like elite halfback flankers, Rioli and Noble are almost kind of like, they're kind of role players, like more so than kind of like the elite of the elite, you know what I mean? So, and they're like getting to late 20s now and will be 30 in a couple of years. We could see them slide a little bit and you could see through natural progression someone like Dylan Patterson actually kind of overtake them pretty quickly. So
Definitely.
I think we've got a bit of a wait, but he's that kind of damaging halfback distributor, and that's just such a valuable role for fantasy, even though like the numbers don't always kind of stack up that way. But like if you look at someone like Archie Roberts at Essendon, like didn't have a great underage scoring pedigree, but then as soon as he gets to AFL level, gets in the right role, starts scoring pretty well. And I reckon
takes a lot of marks.
Yeah, exactly. He's the kind of similar type thing as well that going into AFL level, have a couple years of development, plays that fast, speedy halfback flanker who can use the ball really well. I think he's going to be a good scorer.
Yeah, same. He models his game on Wangani Malera, which is
Well, that's huge. I didn't know
someone
that.
not bad to follow. So
I'll take that. Yeah,
the only knock I'd have on Patterson is just I don't think he takes enough marks.
Yeah, okay.
Because he just wants to run and go and carry and get that handball receiver in the back. And
that can depend on game style though for the clubs you're playing for though as well.
So I think he's got so much pace, and he used to play rugby, so he's got that step to get around people. So he loves taking the game on, loves selling a bit of candy, loves to run and carry. So he's very, very exciting. And you're right, I think Noble and Rioli, you take them to put Yuland and Patterson back there, and you're like, okay, we're winning a flag.
Yeah,
so
there's probably another guy that has potential there that we might talk about a bit later in the draft. I'm not sure if he'll get picked up.
There's a couple.
Yeah, they're rich for halfback flankers. And to be honest, I think it's like an area that Gold Coast have actually targeted because I know a lot of them were academy and they kind of had to pick him anyway. But like I said before, like Rioli and Noble are good, but you could do better.
Yeah,
if you're trying to build a premiership
I think
side.
it's more they traded for both of them. But I think Gold Coast, their recruiting team's very smart. They know what they got. They know where the game's going.
Yeah.
And maybe Rioli and Noble, they're a bit later in their 20s because they know they're just a bit of a stopgap until these boys come through.
Yeah,
so.
correct. Yeah, they probably knew that these guys were going to be picked up and on AFL list, their list the next couple of years. Anyways, let's move on to pick 9. Who are you thinking about next?
It's a tough one.
Yeah, it's getting tough now.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go Svin Roby. I've got another bomber. Look, came from the clouds, was playing like local footy seniors at the start of the year. He's grown 17 centimetres in the last 2 seasons. He's an absolute monster of a lad. I think he's 193 or 194, something like that.
Yeah.
But he started as like a half forward at like 170 centimetres, and now he's grown and he still has all those attributes of a smaller player playing tall.
Yeah.
Very big, powerful. I would kind of liken him to Jake Stringer a little bit.
Yeah.
Had a game where he had 40 and kicked 3. I think that was the first final for Eastern Rangers. So
Yeah.
had a 140. So can score, but then also has games where he has 15 and kicks a couple goals. So I would think he's not really an accumulator of the footy. He'll have games where he tears it apart, but he has 15 touches and kicks 5.
Yeah.
Kind of vibe, and most of his scoring is probably going to be from his goals, and he's leading up half marks. If he can go into the midfield though, then look out.
So I reckon every draft has a Dusty Martin type.
100%.
This is the one.
This is the one.
And if you look at Dusty Martin, I was doing something for a bit of content the other day, and I was kind of looking up the best Richmond scorers of all time. And when I look at peak of their careers and a 5-year fantasy average and all that sort of stuff, like their best 5 years in a row, Dusty Martin's probably the best fantasy player for Richmond of all time, really. You've got Taranto now coming up who might overtake him in terms of those numbers, but there's no reason why if he, can be, it's a big ask to be up to Dusty's standard, you know what I mean? But
no pressure, mate.
Yeah, exactly. But if he can be that kind of guy, then there's no problem with him as a fantasy scorer. He's definitely got the kind of forward ability. I think the only thing is, I looked at the again that's Champion Data positions pool. He's listed as midfielder only in there, so I don't see he must have had
He was
upwards, centre bounces.
Yeah,
like,
so
towards the end.
he was playing. So what they did, they had Ollie Greavves, Eastern Rangers, man. They won the flag. They were stacked.
Like every player that was like
drafted
in the top,
Eastern
first
Rangers,
round.
yeah.
Basically.
So I think mainly Ollie Greavves was mid, and then when Roby come in, he went a little bit mid, and Greavves went forward.
I reckon finals onwards, he was full time mid, essentially,
yeah.
and then he started transitioning beforehand. So yeah,
but so what I will say, he's got clean hands and takes a good mark, but then around stoppage, he's a bit more brutish. Like it's just more power, run through.
Yeah.
Not really clean with the ball and get it out, but he's then also clean below his knees for a big man, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's excited. I think he only averaged 89 in his 9 games in the Coates League.
Yeah. But again, like half of that was up forward.
Yeah,
and we haven't seen him as a full time midfielder properly yet.
And then, but he had those games where he's had 40 and kicked 3. Like that's not easy to do.
Yeah,
and especially in a final. So yeah, I'm happy with that with pick 9.
All right, cool. The next one in my rankings is another halfback flanker, so I don't think I should take another one.
Nah.
So I might go with a different player this time at pick 10, and I'm going to go the Griller, Sam Grill, the Sizzler with pick 10. If you watch the draft coverage, everyone's talking him up as a halfback flanker, but he shows that kind of that burst and that line breaking power, and he did move into the midfield a bit in his kind of
the back end
of last season.
So much of Zach Butters, man.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Like everyone kind of gets those flashes of Zach Butters with him, and if you look at Butters, he started as a half forward flanker.
Yeah,
and then just kind of because he had that explosiveness, he kind of just fit the bill to kind of move into the midfield, and I think Grill's probably long term going to be one of those players as well. Averaged 80 in the Talent League, 72 from his 2 VFL games. Only the 57 at the under 18 champs, but I saw a lot of like defenders and halfback flankers didn't score that well. At the under 18 champs, so I don't know if that. And they're short.
I don't think he played much from top. I don't think he played much midfield for the Vic Metro.
Yeah,
pretty sure they had a few others in there. So,
but I put out a video of his highlights that kind of he just went bonkers on Instagram, and like just him. It's basically just him kind of sidestepping players, like linking up, getting off that half back line. But yeah, if you watch that explosiveness and just how clean he is in traffic and how he can move away, like it just reeks midfield to me, like future midfielder.
Definitely.
So yeah, I'm gonna back the grill in at the Sizzler at number 10.
And then you look at Richmond's team. So he'll be if he
complements it so well.
Yeah, if he starts half back.
Like, Jaden Short, see you later.
Yeah, so even Sam Banks is probably on the cusp of moving out of the way for the Griller. So I think look at Sam Banks' numbers in his first couple of years, or this year especially. Like that's probably what he's going to be if he's playing defence, because you just need marks really. He's a bit like Patterson where it doesn't take heaps of marks.
Yeah.
If you can just bump that up, you get 2 or 3 extra a game. That's like an extra 15, 20 points you're going to pick up.
Yeah. No, I agree. So, and like I said, he's got the makings of going inside one day as well. Like I'll be surprised if he doesn't get tried on the midfield at some stage.
Oh, especially with Richmond's team.
Yeah.
And I feel like, Smiley is just constantly injured.
Yeah.
They got Laylaw. So outside of that, like they cut Thompson Dow. They've got Sonsi. Like there's just a lot of these.
Yeah, meandering
these
around
guys
the edges
just sort of
kind of thing.
So if he can take that opportunity, same as Cumming, I reckon they'll be pretty good in there.
All right, let's get on to pick 11 with your pick. We've got a few names, like so Cooper Duff Tytler hasn't been taken yet. We've got a few kind of later picks that have put up some good numbers. So what are you thinking? Where are you going next with pick 11?
Well, I'm going to take the guy you should have just taken, and that's Locky Carmichael of the Dogs. Now, I reckon if he was at Sydney, he probably wouldn't be going this high. But he probably would.
Yeah, I reckon
thinking about their team.
Yeah, I reckon Lloyd's on the outer. They've kind of don't really have any good that many halfbacks.
Yeah, so Carmichael was Sydney Academy. Dogs put a bid on him at 21, 20, something like that. And Sydney couldn't match. I don't think they had enough because they were picking up that Max King as well, another academy.
Harry Kyle, I think they picked up beforehand.
Yeah, Giants traded up and went with him 14, which they had to. Maybe they weren't expecting that. But then again, Cow Toomey was saying draft on the Phantom draft that's roughly when teams are looking at him. So, averaged 109 in the Talent League. I think he was the second highest scorer in the under 18 champs behind Sharp with like a 95. And had a couple of, I think 1 or 2 VFL games this year. I'm not 100% sure. But did pretty well. Just a halfback, great ball user. I reckon he took every kick out of his team that he's ever played in. I think really, really clean, classy player. And you look at the Dogs, it's basically Bailey Dale. Johannesson's retired. There's going to be an opportunity for him to roll halfback.
I reckon if Butterick doesn't become that kind of halfback distributor, which I don't think he does, to be honest, I think he becomes more of a lockdown in that team. I guess you said Johannesson has kind of moved on, but I think like Butterick, I reckon, has probably been recruited to play like the Locky Bramble kind of small lockdown, can distribute, you depending on that kind of stuff. Whereas I think someone like Carmichael is just going to come in and probably play that halfback role. I think he's going to be a bit of a kick-out merchant across that halfback line.
Even Dale.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, no, I think it's like I can see a spot opening for him. Again, I love these kind of halfback flankers that are really good with the ball in hand and can use it by foot really well. But also as well, like because his kick's so good, like it just screams, kick-in duties for me. Got the VFL, like it didn't go under 80 actually in any league. That's why I kind of had him high up in my calculations, just talking fantasy stuff. And you know what, we did all those cartoons.
Yeah.
So I had to put them to the cartoonist like month before the draft type thing because it takes a while to draw them. And I was just looking at fantasy numbers, and Locky Carmichael I noticed was like, I wasn't sure where he was going to go, like, how high, that sort of stuff, but I just noticed that he didn't go under 80 in any competition. So I was like, surely he's going to be a high-end pick in fantasy. Yeah, kind of thing. So 109 in the talent league, 95 at the chance, which is awesome. I think it was the second highest behind Sharp in the talent league as well. So I love that pick. Should have probably taken him earlier. Should have taken him over Patterson. I don't know.
Maybe I should have taken him over Cumming.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, I don't mind it. And I couldn't take another halfback flanker. I couldn't fit them all on my team. So
we're building a dynasty, mate. Like, I've taken Faroh, Carmichael. Yeah, they're both gonna be halfback.
Yeah,
Roby forward. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll go with pick 12, and I think I'm gonna have to take Cooper Duff Tytler. With that pick, I need a ruck. My team needs a ruck. So I'll add him in there.
Struggle then.
I got a bit, you got no one else in there.
I can take the big Schubert.
Yeah, you could actually. You could pinch it for you.
Emmett.
Emmett's not a bad one. But with Duff Tytler, 99 average in the talent league, 77 under 18 chance. Played as a forward in the VFL for his only game and kicked 3 goals there. The thing that's kind of spooked me a little bit with him is that he's been touted as a key. West Coast have only really talked about him as a key forward.
Yeah.
But I think they're thinking short term because they'll probably play Flynn or Williams, and then he'll play the Oscar, what's his name? Oscar Allen, yeah. Yeah, Oscar Allen role. I couldn't remember his surname.
I was about to say Oscar McDonald.
Yeah, no, Oscar Allen role. Isn't it Freo? Anyway, the Oscar Allen role is the kind of that ruck forward to start off with, I think. I think, but as time goes, like he looks like, the next Dean Cox in the way he kind of moves around the field, plays as that extra midfielder. And I think he's one that if the centre bounce changes do kind of favour the athletic ruckman, if that does happen, he's one of them. So I think that's going to suit him from a fantasy perspective as well. Can go forward and kick goals. Been compared to Tom de Koning. And we've seen Tom de Koning be a more than viable scorer when he can stay in the ruck. Yeah. And then hopefully he can do the same. So do you reckon I made the right pick there?
Yeah, definitely. He's got a basketball background.
Oh, you can't lose that.
I think he was playing for Australia in the under 16.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
And they won. So chose footy over basketball, which is good. I agree with you. I think he's that mobile ruck, going to get a lot of hit-outs around the ground, but he's also, like Luke Jackson kind of type extra mid. It's just going to be a slow burn. Big boys normally take a little bit longer. So
yeah, exactly. Although I think I can see him playing straight up.
Oh,
because the West Coast is that kind of shallow in terms of their depth. They'll chuck him in, but he'll be rat shit for the first couple of years.
Just scoring-wise, he might just not be as consistent.
You'll see moments of glimpses, though.
Yeah, 100%.
That sort of stuff.
I think if you're looking for someone to base it off, like look at Luke Jackson and look at what he scored in his first few years.
Yeah.
And then, how long it took him to finally break out.
Yeah.
And then relate that to Duff Tytler. That's probably the timeline you're looking at if you're thinking of a dynasty.
The only thing I'll probably give him in his favour is he doesn't have like another big name.
Doesn't have Max Corn in front of him.
Yeah, and then also doesn't have Sean Darcy in front of him that's on a big contract, as well. So when he becomes the number one, they'll be, Freo, for example, with Jackson, it's like they felt like they had to play him forward because they got Darcy. But I think as soon as he's ready to go on the ruck, he'll be the guy.
Yeah,
that goes in there. So, yeah. Anyways, who are you going with pick 13?
It's a tough one. I'm just looking at our list here, and I'm going to go Jack Dalton.
Oh, Hawks man picks up the fresh Hawk.
Zach Merritt 2.0.
Well, that's what I've heard.
We don't need Zach Merritt because we've drafted him. Look, Dalton is a bit of a funny one. So Hawks have lost Warple, didn't get the trade done for Merritt. So there's a midfield opportunity there. I think Ward and McKenzie are probably going to be first in line, and Will Dale come back as well. But Dalton just excites me from an accumulator fantasy perspective. His two biggest strengths are his gut running and his endurance. He had a 154, I'm pretty sure, and a 138 in the Coates Talent League, and then playing for Vic Metro at a 128. So accumulates it. multiple 30-plus games disposals in both leagues. Just really excites me. And yeah, I think he averaged 111 in the talent league from his 9 games.
I think he was the highest, one of the highest averages in the talent league, maybe 1 or 2. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a big 154 in there, which definitely helps. So with him, I don't say he broke, but he had a freak gym accident where he snapped both his wrists or something like that.
Yeah.
He was meant to miss the whole season, and he only missed 11 weeks.
Yeah.
So teams really like that.
Good for durability.
Yeah, so durability-wise, good. Can run long distances, but run them at top speed. So that's why they really like him. I think that's why Hawthorn have taken him, because that really sort of complements their game style. And I'm pumped with that pick actually.
He'd probably be my next pick if you didn't take him for sure. It's just he's like I think he was the hardest. They reckon he's the hardest runner in the draft. So he would just get to contest, and he's like a proven accumulator already at the underage level. So, and if you've got that like combination of gut running, you can just kind of keep going all day. And, already accumulating the footy at the underage level, I think that translates really well to being a good AFL fantasy scorer. Like that elite endurance just like lets you get, repeat possessions all the time. But then also kind of link up in transition. And if he's allowed to kind of roam in the same way kind of Merritt is, and I think like again he complements your midfield. I don't know if he comes in straight away. I don't know how the physicality and the nature of that sort of stuff kind of works with him. But if you look at the other midfielders you got, like you kind of had to get rid of Warple because like you got too many of the same kind of type in there. Between Newcomb and Day, I think Dalton kind of complements those two perfectly. As you've got Newcomb as the kind of grunt in and under kind of guy. You've got Day as that kind of taller kind of user that can help around, and then you've got Dalton who's like the genuine accumulator out of the three and kind of picks up the
great,
so,
great balance.
Yeah. So I reckon that's going to be, potentially your top 3 midfielders in the future, and you've picked probably the best fantasy one out of the 3 of them. So
good.
Yeah, I'd be pretty happy with that one. Were you cheering when we picked that one? Because he was like a guy that I saw his numbers a lot, but I hadn't seen him in a lot of mock drafts until really late.
Yeah.
I wasn't really sure whether he'd even go in the draft.
Same.
But then he went pick
34, yeah. Hawks traded up to get him. They gave away a future 2026 second round and a future 2027 second rounder or something, and they picked 54 that they had that draft. So obviously saw something that they liked, didn't know he was there. Yeah. And went bang.
All right. My next pick, the next 3 on my list are halfback flankers as well. So I'm going to have a team of halfback flankers.
It's because they're the more consistent,
Yeah, correct.
Scorers.
That's the fantasy scorers. I'm going to pick Jari Murray with my next pick. I think that's pick 14. At the moment, we haven't seen a lot of Jari Murray from over the last few seasons because he's had a lot of injury issues. Plus, being a Queenslander, you don't see him as much because he was a Gold Coast academy. They play the Talent League academy. They play VFL usually, and then they also play like Quaffle and school stuff and things like that. So you don't see a lot of them. But the fact that this guy was like nowhere near like top 20 calculations until really late.
Maybe like the week off.
Yeah, I feel like they were kind of hiding him a little bit. And I think he's like a bit of a kept secret. But the thing about him, like he averaged 101.5 from his 2 Talent League games this year. I think he played 4 games as a bottom major and averaged 85 then. And yeah, just that kind of, again, another classy halfbacker, good decision maker, got a good kick on him. And I think he moved up to a wing this year in the Talent League, but I think like Yuland's probably got that kind of position like sewn up in the future. So
definitely,
I think he could be. We talked about Noble, we talked about Rioli. I think he could be part of the 1-2 punch that maybe replaces them in the future, or even if he goes to like a back pocket kind of spot, he will still be that kind of distributor off halfback, pushing up the ground type thing as well. So
yeah, they've also likened him to Noah Anderson.
Well, there you go.
So that outside player, who was looking to go inside potentially in the future. Yeah. That's what it is. So he did a Liz Frank injury in the second Coates game. So he scored 117, I'm going to say, roughly in the first game. Then when he was on 80, he got injured and didn't play for the rest of the year. Yeah. So, you could say his average should be above 100 if he didn't get injured. But, really good ball user, classy. And then he's just come from absolute nowhere, basically, the last week of, and matched people that, people have matched bids on him. So, definitely one to watch if he can get into that side. Like, obviously, they're pretty stacked.
He's going to take some time. But then I think, like you were just saying before about Noah Anderson, like, you keep forgetting that, like, Took Miller's probably getting to the twilight of his career. And there might be and they've got rid of Flanders, you know what I mean? Like, there's might be a spot opening up for one of these kids to kind of move into them if they've got that kind of thing. Jari Murray strikes me as more of an outside type. You probably want him on the half back. But, you know, I still think there'll be some potential here for some of these kind of Gold Coast kids, even though we kind of look at that Gold Coast team and think it's stacked. So, just impressive numbers. Honestly have not watched a lot of him because there hasn't been a lot of him to watch. But yeah, the fact that he puts up those kind of numbers and they took him in the first round, matched a bid for him, I think that's got a lot to say about Jari Murray. So that's my second to last pick at pick 14. Now, this whole kind of draft, you've been looking kind of at my list because I think they've been kind of similar, but I've noticed you've got the phone out now. You're starting to go through your notes a bit. What's the next pick going to be? This is your last pick of the draft as well.
Yeah, so. Wow. So I go another half back. Do you want me to talk you through what I'm thinking about? Or
yeah, talk through the ones just in case we don't pick him on this podcast, yeah.
So I'm thinking about Ollie Greavves, rookie draft. Thinking about Riley Onley. I'm thinking about Fred Rodriguez from WA.
Yep. So one of those bigger midfielders, big-bodied midfielders, I guess.
Yeah, they're all quite tall, which I go, if I was picking a team, I would already have them.
And then the other two are quite tall.
Yeah, and then I'm, looking at someone like an Aiden Schubert from Centrals, who's another Hawk as well, but he's, he averaged 100 in the talent league.
He is, but key forward, but more athletic type. And actually, he's the youngest player in the draft. One of the biggest averages.
Yeah, well,
yeah. So,
but no, I'm gonna go Bo Adensol.
Yeah, nice.
From Gold Coast. So again, very similar sort of story to Murray and the other Gold Coast lads, where the role's going to be hard to find for him to start just because they're stacked. But, classy midfielder, clean hands. I'm not sure what he averaged in the talent league. I think it was up in the hundreds as well.
It was another one that struck me because I knew I got a cartoon made of him because it must have been high. So 109 in the talent league.
Yeah. So the best thing about him is, and with all the Gold Coast boys, is that they play VFL. So it's like with the Victorians, they play talent league until they either miss finals or it's like the back end. There's a few weeks off of school holidays, and then they play VFL.
Yeah.
Whereas like South Australians, people from the Allies and WA, they get the opportunity if they're good enough to play league, and all these Gold Coast boys have been playing VFL, so that holds them in good stead playing against men. But yeah, just footy IQ, smart player, great work rate, and yeah, he averaged 109 in the talent league. So pick 14, I think.
No, take that. He was the next on my...
Can't go wrong with that, can you?
He was the next on my list there. So that was a decent pickup. Now, I've got the last pick of the draft, pick 16, and I've got a few. I might take someone who's not actually on my list because I've got to get around one of my boys in the draft. So because I've been putting up so much draft content on Instagram, pretty much every draftee has just gotten on board the page, and a few jump in the DMs. A couple of avid AFL fantasy players as well. I've had, I won't mention who it is, but I've had one draftee who's vowed to get a few more +4s next season if he ever gets a game. He's not counting his chickens just yet, but he's vowed to be a good fantasy scorer. So I like that kind of thinking, the attitude when they come into. But the guy, I've got to pick Ollie Greavves, I think.
So you were nervous just then when I mentioned him.
Yeah. I was more than happy for you to take him. And to be honest, like, I do have my doubts on him as a fantasy scorer. It's just that we've been chatting a bit on the DMs, and he's a good lad. And I think the kind of experience he's gone through, like, not getting drafted on the draft and going to the rookie draft, I think it's kind of spur him on to kind of work that extra bit harder and kind of get him to the 100%. Next level. But if you look at his numbers, I think he was one of the top scorers in the talent league. I've got to find him on my huge list. I've got to scroll down.
Yeah, we had a massive 172.
Well, that's the big one. Yeah, so in that wild card round, 172. Sorry, in the prelim was it? Yeah, 172 was Roby had the big wild card round.
35 touches and 4 goals.
172 fantasy points was in that game.
Like you to me, you like, why is he going on the rookie draft if you put up those numbers?
Well, there's a bit of talk about him. Like, he's a bit slow, so he doesn't translate.
No, I don't think he's that slow.
Yeah,
like, he's 190. He's 191 centimeters. He's a powerful mid. Can go forward.
The story is he missed his running component of the draft combine. Right. Apparently, he chucked a sickie, and a few people were saying that that he maybe did that on purpose, and that's why he slid. But that's just rumours and hearsay. That's Reddit, like, bullshit,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
big
But
footy,
like,
big footy.
Yeah, but it wouldn't take much for something like that to actually circulate and there be concerns.
Yeah,
You know what
definitely,
I mean? So that could be why he slid, you know, it's something as simple as that, and Hawthorn have absolutely got themselves a steal. My theory is that Hawthorn are cheats. They've orchestrated this whole thing,
Well,
and they've let him slide to the rookie
Hawks
draft.
have told him, Hawks told him, mate, miss this running session.
Yeah.
We're going to, because he was meant to be Hawks NGA.
Yeah, that's what I thought. They were meant to go there initially anyway.
Got denied, so...
I feel like he's always wanted to be a Hawks player as well.
I'm pretty sure he goes to Geelong, though.
Oh, okay.
So his great-granddad or his granddad is Kaji Greaves.
I did see that.
Who Geelong's best and fairest is named after.
Okay, that's fair enough.
So they're pretty sure they're all Geelong
I just
people.
saw he was going to be an NGA. They tried to get him as an NGA, got
Yeah.
turned down, and then I feel like this is not what happened. But like, because I'm just so anti-Hawthorn, I reckon he's tanked it so he could slide to the rookie draft so we get the Hawthorn. But there's that's been debunked there by him being a Geelong supporter, so it doesn't actually matter in the long run. But like 100 average in the talent league, 92 in the under 18 champs, which again is huge because they're shorter games, and no one really scores that well there. We've seen evidence of him just being able to rack up huge scores and huge numbers. Yeah, kick goals. And that's kind of come with Roby coming into the side and pushing him forward a little bit more. But like, he's the kind of player that can, if he's not getting heaps in the midfield, he can go forward and make something happen.
And he's 191 centimetres tall.
Yeah.
So to me, okay, you could say maybe touch slow, maybe he doesn't have that outside game.
Yeah.
But I just feel like these are the kind of players that win you games of football, and they're the ones that you want in your team. So Annie has shown a sign to rack it up.
Yeah, and I'm getting him at pick 16, so last pick of the draft. I'm pretty happy with that one.
What we said before with Hawthorn, there's going to be roles there, you know, maybe Will Day injury-wise can't sustain. He's sort of that same height, same kind of player in terms of that, like, not, Will Day's not like a powerful mid, but midfielders that are tall that win clearances and stoppages, Greaves could definitely be that for the Hawks.
Correct. All right, that wraps up the draft. We might go over it once again. So pick 1, Willem Dersma, you took.
My boy.
I took Annable at pick 2. Zeke Yuland went at pick 3. Josh Lindsay went at pick 4. You took Sam Cumming, your boy, at pick 5. And you got so many boys.
How many boys can you have?
I reckon what K's you say? You could fill a busload. That was allowed. Minibus. Then Dyson Sharp went at pick 6. Love this pick, Jacob Faroh at pick 7.
I should have said Sharp's also the Lark medalist. So he won the best player for the under 18 championship.
Yeah.
So previous were those like Ashcroft and Sam Walsh and Langford.
Good company.
Whitfield, Caniglio, Track. Like,
yeah, no, there's good company there.
Sharp probably should have gone pick 1 in hindsight.
Look, who knows? Like I said, pick 7 was Jacob Faroh. I like that pick. Pick 8 was Dylan Patterson. Pick 9 went down to Sullivan Roby there. Then pick 10 was the Sizzler, Sam.
Your boy.
Grill, yep. Pick 11, Locky Carmichael. Pick 12 was Cooper Duff Tytler. Pick 13 was Jack Dalton. Pick 14 was Jari Murray. 15 was Bo Adensall, and lucky last pick 16, the slider, Ollie Greavves.